Hey guys, Hayden here with a quick tutorial on using fades effectively in your dance mixes and edits. Just an FYI for those watching, these tutorials are geared towards dancers to help make your own dance mix or edit. So there's nothing super technical or fancy, and we're not covering everything. This is not a comprehensive guide. It's just to show you quickly how you can use fades effectively in Logic Pro. So let's just get right to it. With Logic open, let's go ahead and import a couple songs to work with. We have our audio track here, which Apple forces us to create upon opening this editor. So let's go ahead and import those songs. The way we can do that is by going to File, Import, Audio File, or Command-Shift-I. We can navigate to our song. In my case, it's in the Downloads folder. We click the song we want. Logic has this cool feature where we can play back the song to make sure it's the one we need, and then just click Open here. That'll pop it into our track. The second way to import a song, and the much easier way in my opinion, is by opening a Finder window, navigating to your song, and then simply dragging and dropping that song here onto a new track. That will automatically name the track as well, which is kind of handy. So a much better process there. I'm going to rename this as well so we don't get confused. This is going to be my song number 1. All right, so now that we have these two songs in here, let's go ahead and cut these to taste. First, I'm going to zoom out on these, and the easiest way to zoom out so I can see these is just by clicking these two buttons here, and this will zoom them out to fit your screen. I don't like my tracks being this fat though, so I'm going to shrink them down a little bit. About right there works for me. Let's say we want to keep the intro and the first verse of my song number 1 and cut the rest out. And then on song number 2, let's cut out the intro and transition right into the first chorus of number 2. So we can show you how to do a fade on each side, each kind of cut we can do here. So let's find where we're going to cut that first. I'm actually going to zoom in a little more on this so that I can see some of these transients here, which is just the waveform peaks. And let's find where that chorus is. I'm going to solo this track so that both tracks don't play simultaneously. And let's go ahead and play this back and find that downbeat. Okay, and there it is. So that's the downbeat of that chorus. You could hear it pretty prominently. I'm going to zoom in here a little more. So that's where that downbeat is. The way that I can cut this is simply by right-clicking wherever the playhead is, click split at playhead, and it'll cut my song. However, I don't want to delete this downbeat, and I'm going to tell you why here in a second. So I'm going to undo that cut. We're going to cut it just past this downbeat. So let's go there, right-click, split at playhead, and then we will delete the rest of this song by selecting here and clicking the delete key on our keyboard. I'm going to zoom back out so we can see that is gone. So now we have the intro and first verse. So let's go ahead and cut the second song as well really quick. In this case, we're going to cut out the intro and keep the chorus. So let's find that transition. Looks like it's probably around right here. Zoom in a little more and play this back. There it was. I'm going to jump back a little more so you can hear that. Okay, so that's the chorus we want. So let's find that downbeat there. Looks like that's it. So I'm going to zoom in on this, and I'm going to cut the playhead right before that downbeat. So right click there, split at playhead, and now it has split. So I can delete the beginning of this song. And there we go. We have our two cuts ready to go. We're going to line these up. I could just throw this to the end here and hope that it lines up, but we're going to do a little better job than that. We're going to zoom in here and really dial in this transition. So coming back to why we kept this downbeat, this is the reason why, is because now we can visually see where those downbeats are happening and line them up much easier. So this downbeat here in song number 1 is the first beat of the chorus, and this is the first beat of the chorus in song number 2. So naturally, we want to line those up so that it's a seamless transition from one song to the other. I can use my playhead cursor here to really check to make sure those are lined up pretty good. I could really get in there if I wanted to, but that looks pretty good to me. So we'll just leave it like that. So now that I've lined those up, I don't need to keep this extra bit of song, so I can trim that by using my trim tool here. And you can pull that up by just hovering over the edge of your clip. There we go. So let's play that back and hear how that sounds, that transition from one to the other. I like how that sounds, so let's go ahead and zoom in on here, and we're going to add some fades to these. So when you make a cut in your audio file, always, always, always add fades, just little short fades to the end of your clips or beginning of your clips. And the reason we do this is because when you cut an audio file, it can actually result in a clip or a pop in your song. Plus, this just kind of helps it be a little more smooth of a cut. So the way we do that in Logic is by going up to our cursor tools here. If I click here, it's going to pull up my fade tool. So I can use this here. And then now my cursor tool has changed. You can see it has that little fade tool underneath it. And so when I drag here, whatever section I highlight, it's going to add a fade to that section. So I'm going to undo that and show you if I could do one a little longer if I wanted to, and it'll make a fade that long. Do you see that? And now that that's on there, I can adjust that as well. So I can just go up to here, click here when it shows this little tower with 2 arrows, and then I can shorten that. So we can really dial in what our fade should sound like here. And then I can do the same thing down here. I do want to show you though, you do have the option of changing this second tool here. And how this one works is if I choose the fade tool here, it doesn't automatically change my cursor, but when I hold down the command key on my keyboard, then I can use my fade tool. So I like to leave this as a fade tool because I use fades all the time. It's the most common tool that I use here. So now that that's there, I can hold command and do the exact same thing. And there is my fade. Final thing here is I just want to make sure that there is a little bit of overlap. You don't want to cut your songs so that they look like this, because what's going to happen here is you're going to get some silence. It's not going to sound quite as smooth. So definitely keep some overlap there. That'll just sound a lot nicer. Okay, so now that we have those in there, let's play that back again and just make sure that still sounds okay. Perfect. Okay, sounds great. So let's go ahead and zoom out here. Last thing we're going to do, just to show you real quick, one thing we can do with fades is do a longer fade. So for example, let's say I have my mix done here and it's getting a little too long and maybe I want to shorten it. If I change my LCD display up here to beats and time, this will show me how long my mix is. Currently it's 1 minute 48 seconds. Where the cursor is, this mix is actually 2 minutes and 10 seconds. But let's say we want our mix to be 1 minute and 48 seconds. So there's 2 ways we can cut this again. We can right click and go split up playhead, or we can simply just grab this trim tool here and trim the edge of our clip to be right there. There we have it. So we can add a longer fade. Same process. I'm going to hold command and just use my secondary tool here and add a longer fade here to the end of that song or that cut. So if I play this back, you'll see how that sounds. This is a good way to gradually fade out of a mix. And there we have it. So that is how we use fades effectively in Logic. Pretty simple to do. Just to recap, so once you've added the songs you want to edit, cut out the parts you don't want by right-clicking and using that split at playhead tool. Wherever your playhead is, that's where it's going to split that audio. Or you can simply use your trim tool by hovering over the edge of your clip. The shortcut for splitting at the playhead is also Command T if you want to use that as well. Line up your downbeats. Always, always, always add fades to each cut or transition to avoid those clicks and pops. And that pretty much does it. So hopefully this video was helpful. If so, please give the video a like and subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions about making mixes or edits for dance, you can contact me directly or head over to dancecuts.com/contact. And just for those curious, here is Dance Cuts, our music editor made for dancers. Dance Cuts automatically adds fades for you when you make a cut or selection, so you don't have to worry about those clicks and pops, and you can easily adjust those fades by using this little handle here. This is much easier than other editors as Dance Cuts was created for dancers. It is free, so be sure to check that out, and you can do that by heading over to dancecuts.com and navigating to the downloads page. We also have loads of tutorials to help you quickly learn Dance Cuts, with more tutorials being made regularly, so be on the lookout for those, and we will see you in the next one.